Hi! You're listening to the Coffee O'Clock podcast, the show that brings you joy and inspiration, with special guests from all around the world who have an amazing story and expertise to evolve your personal and professional life. I am your host, Burcu ONARANEL, the founder of Joy Marketing and Coaching. Make sure you grab your coffee and get ready to explore new ideas. Let's get started. Hello, we are here on another great episode. I have a very special guest today, as always, Alma Collins Thomas, who is a minister, educator, motivational speaker, playwright, and author. She holds 2 BS degrees, one in human services with a concentration in children and families, and another one in Christian studies. She's a Bible school teacher. She co-authors several books, including Love, Marriage, and Divorce. She has so many things to share, and I can't wait to introduce her to you and welcome her to the stage. Hi, Alma. How are you today?
Hello, how are you? I'm fine. I'm doing great on today.
Amazing. Great to have you. I'm so excited to share your story, which I heard before a couple of days ago, and I know how important your message is to share with everyone who will be watching or listening to us. We are going to talk about how to turn your pain into passion. You can make it better or bitter. That's our motto for today. So, Alma, can you please share your story and how you started your purpose, changing your pain to purpose, passion?
Okay, well, my story begins in 2009 when my only son passed away. And I went through a period of why me grieving, just going through. And then I simply got over that chapter. Not got over it, but learned to live through that chapter. Then another chapter, the apartment complex that I was living in, my apartment didn't burn, but another apartment burnt and they condemned that whole side of the building, which made me and my daughter become displaced. So we lived through that chapter. We found another apartment, and then I had got married. I made a permanent decision while I was going through a temporary situation. And I found out that the man I married was a substance abuser and he was addicted to crack. So that marriage didn't last. Another bad chapter. So I'm going through bad chapter after bad chapter after bad chapter. I got over the divorce and seems like my life was going great. Then on April 23rd, 2021, I suffered massive stroke. If you see me now, I'm doing this interview in my bed. And after I had the stroke, I wish I could say that I was Superwoman every day, that every day I saw the good in this, but that didn't happen at first. At first I was suppressed and I went through anxiety and I started feeling the same feelings that I felt when my son passed away. Because whenever you experience any loss, I found out that you still go through the 5 stages of grief, whether you lose a relationship or you lose a child. So I began to go through that again because after 2 months after my son passed away, was his 19th birthday. And on that day, I didn't go to work. And I decided that I wanted to be with my son. I was like, it's his first birthday in heaven. If I wonder if anybody's celebrating him, they make him a cake, all these natural feelings. And I poured a whole bottle of pills into my hand, and I was gonna end it all that day. I felt like I had nothing left to live for. My son was no longer here, so I no longer wanted to be here either. And after I poured all the pills in my hand and I was getting ready to put them in my mouth, I heard a still voice say, "If you do it, you'll never see him again." And I put the pills back in the bottle. And that day, I decided not to just be a survivor, but to live. So everything else that I went through, I compared it to I've already lived through the worst day of my life. That putting dirt on my son was the worst day that I could ever imagine. So I had already lived through that. So everything else that came, I no longer looked at what I couldn't do. I no longer looked at, oh, well, I can't walk, so life is over. No, I said, I have a message to tell the world that despite any circumstances and situations that you find yourself in, you have the choice to make it bitter or better. You choose. You don't have to be bitter, but if you look at the things that you can't do, if you look at society, you look at what people think, because people look on your outside appearance. So they're saying, like, you're laying in the bed. What do you have to be joyful about? Why are you still showing up on platforms? Why are you still talking? Because I have a message to tell you that when it seems like your darkest day, when it seems like there's nothing else to live for, that you can make that decision that I'm going to live again. You give yourself permission to live again after you went through all the disappointments and the heartaches and the mistakes and the failure. You feel like you have nothing to live for, and you give yourself permission, like, I'm going to live again. I'm going to be the best. Whatever it is that I desire to do, I can still do it. Even one-handed, not able to type on a computer, I've written 2 books since I've had the stroke. One is called Surviving a Stroke Against All Odds. I've written a healing journal. I've spoken on so many podcasts and platforms across the world. So I'm telling people that despite obstacles and hurdles, you can rise above them all. But the most important thing that I did after my son passed away was I established a friends and family scholarship in his honor to preserve his legacy, because he was all about education. When he passed away, he was accepted into a pre-law program. And so in order to continue that legacy, I started a scholarship for African American boys of single parents who wanted to go back to school, and it helps them with their books or whatever little things that they need. It helps them with their journey. So, and that's how I turn my pain into my purpose. And after I was in a nursing home and I saw how a lot of elderly people were being treated, I was like, wow, I can talk and there's terrible things happening to me. What's happening to the other patients who can't speak up for their rights, who don't have family coming to visit them to make sure they're being treated right? It's like the elderly in America. Once you can no longer vote or no longer work, it's like you're not important. If they're not, whatever's happening don't lead to death, then they're not looking at what's happening in the healthcare industry. And I decided to speak against it, let people know what's really going on in nursing homes. If you have families in nursing homes and you assume that they're being taken care of because that's people's jobs, no. When I first went into the nursing home, there was 5 people on the floor for the residents. A couple of months later, it was only 2 residents for everybody, and you were not getting changed. The food was just thrown in your room. If you couldn't reach it or whatever. By the time they came back to feed you or pass you your tray again, your food was cold. So it's a lot of things going on in the healthcare field that I feel that people should know about, because they're assuming that their parents are being taken care of. They assume that their family members are being taken care of, and they aren't. So that's another one of my passions now, is to speak out for the elderly.
That is just so moving and amazing. I didn't think that it would move me again, but it moved me again even more listening second time your story and your purpose and how you changed that. You kind of touched to a point where you said you heard a voice and you didn't commit to a suicide. You changed your mind and you found your passion to speak this to other people, inspire other people. How did you find the motivation to do it?
Because I depended on my faith. When I heard the small voice, it was like, okay, this is my faith talking to me, telling me not to give up, that God still had a plan for my life. God still had a purpose for my life. Sometimes when you go through such storms in life and they knock the wind out of you, you don't know how to recover. And you feel like that's your only way out. But my motivation was my faith. That's the same thing that I cling to today, that even though I can't walk, even though I still have my voice, I can still speak. My cognitive skills was never affected, so I can still think and speak. And that was my motivation. I was like, okay, I can't walk. What am I going to do? How am I going to still make a difference in this world? And I was like, okay, everything I've been through, I've had the faith to know it wasn't over. That just because I had some bad chapters in my life, the book isn't over. That is, you can turn the page and begin a new chapter in your life. So after every obstacle, every hurdle that I went through, I knew that it was only temporary, that I could turn the page and start my story all over again. That it might not look the same, it might not look like I pictured it, but there was still purpose in me, and I had to find my purpose. Like everybody doesn't have the same purpose, so you have to find what is your purpose, what is your why. And my why was that I have another child, I have a daughter, and I couldn't give up. I had to live for her and show her that when bad things happen, you have to be resilient. You can't say, oh, well, I did this because my daddy didn't do that, or I did that because my child passed away. No, you got to find your purpose in life and your why. And that's what I let handed down to her, that no matter what happens in life, you got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off. You might have some bruises, you might have some scars to show what you went through in life, but just don't give up. That if you don't give in, you don't give up or give out, that you'll find the purpose for your life while you're here.
Yes, yes. This episode will be viral. I can't say any other words additional to what you just shared. It is so important for people to remember. I like the metaphor you used also. The book isn't over. You have another page. You can turn, you can start again, you can start over. It doesn't matter how old you are or how your abilities are, you can still do your purpose in this life. And I am a huge believer that everybody has different and unique purposes in this life, and they have to know what it is and be sure that they do it until they die. So what are your projects right now? What are you working on? What is coming for you?
Well, I told you earlier that my book Against Surviving a Stroke Against All Odds is with the editor. I did a Bible leadership book that's with the publisher. I have a healing journal coming out. I have some T-shirts that says I'm blessed because I'm a friend of a stroke survivor. I'm favored because I'm the friend of a stroke survivor. So I have all that coming out, and I'm working on. I've written inspirational books, and now I'm working on my second fictional book. So I have doing a lot of podcasts, sharing my story because I want to encourage people that have given up, that feel like they have no hope, to look at me and look what I'm going through, and I still have found a purpose. And it's because of my faith that I wake up every morning with joy and peace. And they do the same. They can find the same thing. So I'm writing some books and speaking on platforms and sharing my story.
Amazing. I am so happy and glad to have you on the show. And are your books on Amazon? People can find it?
Yes, but with the books that I have published already, my book, From the Waiting Room to the Recovery Room, Dream Killers, and all the anthologies that I'm a part of is on Amazon. So you can find Dream Killers and From the Waiting Room on Amazon. And my other books will be on Amazon and my website.
Okay, I will put your website and Amazon links for your books under the episode so people who are watching us or listening us can find it and purchase it. And I hope your t-shirts will be somewhere people can find and buy it.
Yes, they will all be. I have somebody working and revamping my website, so all my products will be in one place on my website, and the money can go directly to the scholarship fund that I want to reopen this year, because the 2 years I was in a rehab, I didn't do it, and towards my recovery and the things that I need in my recovery. So I will have it all that on my website, which is bit.ly author Alma. You can go there, and I will have, in about a month or so, I'll have it up and running.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What do you want to tell to our audience as a last sentence to leave it?
The last sentence that I would say is never give up. That when your rope of hope is almost broke, reach up beyond the break and hold on, because your change is gonna come.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alma. Thank you so much, everyone who
You're
listened.
welcome. Thank you for having me on your platform to share my story, and hopefully that if one person finds their purpose in life and dares to dream again, then my living would not be in vain. All that I went through is not for me, but it's for someone else to regain their strength. So I'll be the one that goes through. I'll be the one that went through all these obstacles just to encourage someone else that you can make it.
Absolutely. I am sure even if we can touch one person, that means we reached our goal. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you and share your story.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and now you can apply it to your life. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the Coffee O'Clock podcast on Apple and leave us a review. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you feel like someone needs to listen to this episode, share it on your social media or text the link to that person to make an impact in their life. Be sure to tune in every Monday for new episodes. You can also watch the episodes and find more inspiration on my Instagram, which is at JOYYBURCU. Until next time, make sure to spend some time with you and stay with joy.